Hey everybody, it's Katie back with another episode of my vlog, and I thought for today's vlog I would share my best tips and tricks for how to stay at home without going crazy. As you guys know, I'm a little bit of a professional homebody between running a business out of my house and homeschooling, and then also being in the stroke dimension, which has caused us to really be, at home a lot over the course of the last year and a half. We've developed some really good strategies for how to stay home with a busy family of five without all driving each other crazy or, going crazy on our own. So I know a lot of you are finding yourselves stuck at home for the first time in a while. And some of you are stuck at home with kids who are also restless and stressed out and all of that stuff. And this is a really huge challenge. There's a big, scary event going on in the outside world. We're all staying at home in our, safe spaces. But a lot of folks don't know how to do that. So I have three pretty much big tips that I'm going to break down later. But the three major tips are: you need to have a routine, you need to move your body, and you need to have some personal space. Routine is so important. Once you move out of a commuting to work or school 5 days a week type of pattern, if you don't create routines inside of your house, you really start to lose track of time. You start to lose track of what day it is. It's really easy to slip into bad habits. It's really easy to slip into depressive modes. It's just really good for us to create routines or schedules or patterns or structures or something to help mark the time that's going by and to just help ourselves to sort of have a routine that helps us make sense of reality. So some of the things that I recommend doing are try to wake up around the same time every day. You don't need to set an alarm per se if you don't have somewhere that you need to be. But if your sleep schedule is all over the place and you're staying up late, sleeping in late one day, and then going to bed super early, getting up super early the next day, it can just be disorienting. And so I think, saying to yourself, I'm going to make sure I get to bed by, say, midnight each night. And I'm going to do my best to be up out of bed and doing stuff by 9 a.m., say, the next day, right? Just give yourself this is my get up and get ready for my daytime. Even if you're not leaving the house, go ahead, get up and get dressed. You don't have to put on some formal outfit, but it marks a change between, okay, this is my relaxed, sleepy evening time, and now I'm going to actually hopefully do something with my day instead of just sitting around all day long. Which isn't to say you can't just sit around all day long sometimes, but I don't think it's healthy for any of us to sit around all day long for an extended period of time, and especially now in this sort of like, how long is this going to go on zone where everything is so uncertain and up in the air. So, get up at around the same time every day. Put on some different clothes than what you slept in. Eat some breakfast. I like to have meal times at specific times. That's another way to create structure throughout the day. So in our family, we eat breakfast between 8 and 8:30. We eat lunch at 12:30, and we eat dinner at 6 o'clock. And we don't hit that exact time every single day, but we try to, because again, it creates structure and a pattern for our day. Also create structure throughout the week. If there's something that you only need to do once a week, do it every week on the same day. Go ahead and say, I don't even know what your weekly chore is at your house, but say you like to vacuum once a week, right? Vacuum on Sundays. Or say you do, we do laundry every day around here, but if you're living by yourself, clearly you don't need to do laundry every day. But say you're doing laundry 2 days a week, do it on Wednesdays and Saturdays, right? If you keep a pattern like that going, it helps you to mark the time of that's going by. I think a lot of people are at risk of just actually losing track of what day it is, especially as we're going to get into our second week. If people are out of work and just staying home 24/7, it's really easy to lose track of what day it is. Something I like to do to ground myself is every day I wake up in the morning and I say, okay, today is Thursday, March 19th. Here's what I'm going to do today. I make myself a little list. It's not a hardcore list. It's a doable list. I don't personally like to leave things hanging on my list, so I make my list shorter for like the required things for that day, and then I give myself some extra credit stuff that if I get to it, that's great. You might not be a list maker. That's fine. If you don't want to, don't do that. But for people that do have a more organized brain, making lists can be really helpful, especially in an unstructured time like this, right? Set yourself little goals for the day. Make a little list where you can check things off, right? Anything like that where it's a pattern and it's a time pattern that you can carry across multiple days is going to be super helpful. The next big piece of advice is move your body, right? We don't want to just sit around all day stuck inside. We really will go crazy with some kind of cabin fever. If you have a yard and the weather is nice, make sure you're getting outside of your house daily. You can also go for a walk. I've seen a lot of people talking about you can't leave your house at all. Of course you can go for a walk in your neighborhood. You just don't want to be interacting with anyone personally, like inside of that 6-foot bubble, right? But like we go out and walk our dog every day. We're actually not encountering that many people walking around in our neighborhood, so it's not exactly hard to avoid getting within 6 feet of another person. You know, you could also go take a hike somewhere in the woods. Just again, make sure you're maintaining that personal distance. But it's so important to move your body and not just sit still, sit in one place all day long. Even if you're working from home and you have to, let's say, be working on a computer 8 hours a day, you know that you don't want to sit there for 8 hours a day straight, that's bad for you, right? Stop, get up, take a break, stretch, go, do some jumping jacks, whatever, take a walk. Come back, do your work. Also, if you are transitioning to a work from home job and you are going to be sitting in front of a computer 8 hours a day, get yourself a comfortable chair, by which I mean supportive and ergonomic, not squashy and like terrible posture, right? I use a variety of totally not like, high-tech ergonomic chairs, but I make sure to move around a lot. I don't just stay in one place for hours and hours and hours, right? I get up, do a stretch. I actually have a thing I do when I'm sewing where I will set myself a timer for a half hour, and every half hour I stop what I'm doing and I get up and I do this thing I call touch the ceiling and then touch the floor 5 times before I sit back down to sew, because otherwise I'll get kind of like hunched into this sewing posture, which is terrible for your back and terrible for your body, right? If you have kids, obviously you know that you need to get them moving also, because they are just balls of energy, and if they are cooped up in the house all day long, that's a recipe for disaster. So again, if you have a yard, if you can go outside, if the weather is nice where you are. If you can't get outside, you can do physical activity inside, right? You can do a aerobics program following along with something online, or you can do yoga, or there's so many options for exercises that you can do inside of your house also. But it's just so important to keep your body moving because it really helps your brain also, in addition to helping your body to stay fit and to not get that kind of cabin fever thing, right? And if you can, try to get some cardio in, try to get your heart rate elevated, at least for a little bit of the day. It's good for you. It's going to help you stay in shape, right? Even running up and down the stairs inside your own house is something you can do, right? And then my third tip is personal space. We're all getting a lot of personal space from the outside world right now. But if you're like me and you live with other people, it's very important for you to have personal space inside of your house where you can escape from your other family members or housemates or whoever it is that you live with. Obviously, if you're moving from a situation where people were working or at school for most of the day, most of the week, and now suddenly everyone is at home together, you guys are probably driving each other up the wall. It's taken us a while to figure out how to have a balanced and harmonious house. And we've been doing homeschool since our oldest kid was born, basically. We've been working on this project for 14 years now. And what we've found is having space for each other, both physical space to get away from the other people in your family that you don't really want to be dealing with at that second. But also giving each other, like mental space or emotional space, if you will, right? Everyone is stressed out right now. Everyone is going through this big, traumatic, scary experience together, but also individually, right? And we each have our own responses to that. And your stress response is going to come out in different ways depending on what type of person you are, depending on what type of other situations you're dealing with. Some people get really like jokey and make a lot of bad, sort of black humor jokes as a way of dealing with being stressed out. Other people get really sad. Other people get really angry. All of that is okay, right? It's all totally normal. It's a totally normal response to what's happening. What is not okay is treating each other badly because we're in a stressful situation. And so that's what I always try to remind my kids, right? We're all in this sort of state here. We're all a little touchy. We're all a little more sensitive than we normally would be. And so we just need to be patient with each other, and we need to have space for someone else to have an outburst or suddenly be crying or be really short-tempered about something or whatever that response is. And we need to not take it personally. And we need to be able to say, okay, I hear you. I hear what you're saying, but I also hear your stress, and I'm here and I love you, and we're going to get through this together, right? So that's giving each other like mental personal space. But then the other piece of it, the physical personal space, is really important. This is my personal space, the studio. I do share it with Jimmy. His workstation is right over there. But if I want my own space, I send him to go do something else. And I don't have to do that in some kind of like, punitive way. I can just dangle a better carrot for him over there and be like, oh, hey, you want some video game time? Or, you want to go watch a movie with your brothers upstairs while I'm doing my studio work. Right now, he's out in the yard playing with Henry. They're building a fort together. And so I go, okay, great. I've got my personal space down here. Nobody's going to come in. Nobody's going to bug me while I'm in here. I can just kind of have my alone time. Each person in the house doesn't necessarily need their own room to make that happen. Our kids do share a room, but we have enough extra rooms in our house where someone can go, you know what? I'm just going to go chill out and read in this other room right now. That's what I'm doing. Don't bug me unless it's like, super urgent. It's really, really important. But just for everyone always, but especially right now, especially because everyone is jammed together. Everyone is stressed out. Everyone is, just on edge about this. We just got to give each other a little bit of space, right? So that's kind of it. There's a lot more advice that I could give. There's a lot more advice out there. There's tons of people posting, lists of things to do to keep yourself occupied, and all kinds of different cool new live streams are popping up with people doing like group meditations or yoga classes together. I saw a group of my friends had an online knitting circle last night, which I missed, but I'm gonna get in on the next one. So, we're moving into this weird unknown space, but it's cool because people are already getting creative with how to connect with each other while remaining physically apart, right? Two of the things that we have done for you guys is we have reinstated our Monster Drawing Club. That's over on the Dungeon Degenerates Instagram. Sean is putting up each week on Tuesday a list of weekly monster prompts. I think today's monster is a troll, but I'm not positive. So if you like drawing and you want to check out what other people are doing with these prompts, go ahead and go to the link that I'll put down below to the Dungeon Degenerates Instagram, and please join us. It's a ton of fun. People at all different skill levels are all drawing together and having a really fun time. And then the other thing that we did was we finally put together our Cinema Club watch list of 100 of our favorite movies that we recommend everyone watch because they're just great. And so I'll put a link to that down below as well, so you guys can check that out and hopefully, keep yourselves entertained a little bit longer. Go ahead, watch a movie with your friends, watch a movie with your family. We're all in this together, and we're all going to make it through this together. It's crazy times out there, but I'm pretty confident that we got this as long as we look out for each other, right? Right. Okay, you guys, I'm going to be back in a couple days with the Cinema Club Sunday Roundup. Until then, have a great day, stay safe, and take care of each other.